Good evening, my MGTOW brothers. I hope everybody's doing well. We are going to go on another little short run, about 2.5 hours or so, and call it a night. You got to let this fine wall Martian past us. First, we do the tug test. We are successfully attached to our trailer. Got to break that one loose from the ice. Hey, Rusty. Howdy, Grinch. Hello, Tom. Pardon me. That note's from me. No. Thank you. And we're off. Woof woof, RO. Link is pinned in the chat. If not, it's going to be a quiet drive. Hey, hop on, Rusty. Or any of the rest of y'all either. Plug your stream. Hemi?
Where are you going to?
We are going to Wichita.
Thought you were done for the day.
Eh, they had other plans. I had time on my clock.
Ah,
I waited until the roads were clear this morning before I started, so don't blame them from getting their full fucking paycheck out of me.
how far are you from Wichita?
Uh, oh, 2.5, 3 hours, something like that.
Right on. So you'll be driving into the night.
Yep. And because I'm working for the Walmart, man, I can park at Walmart.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Special Walmart guy. They won't fuck with me with a Walmart trailer on the back end of my truck. Ha ha ha.
A wall Martian.
Hmm? Bringing substandard Chinese goods to a Walmart near you. Now the roads have dried off. I'm able to haul ass. It was a mite slippery still after the roads got cleared today, but now it's beautiful. Beautiful driving, anyways. Did you see Sam was at the roller derby?
I did not.
He's broadening his horizons. He's going to take them bitches down. Looks like we have a new guy in here tonight, so welcome, new guy. Sorry, I can't read your name. I have to Pay attention to the road. I do all this streaming off of my phone, and
Name is World. I don't know. It's an odd name.
how do you say the first one? Swirl?
ZW. Here, let me read it to you. ZWHIRL. Zwirl.
Swirl. I hope we're saying that right. There's a little hawk tua for RO. I know he loves that. Hey, Cybertoxin. Welcome, brother. It was a good ship, except the front fell off. So, Hemi, How is the transmission coming?
Oh, it's coming along. Couple of distractions this week that got in the way of it. But
Oh,
oh, that's life.
yep. Well, with the postal strike being over up there in Canada, are you back on regular deliveries of your devil's lettuce?
I will be in the next week or so.
Oh, good. I'm really enjoying running without Qualcomm up and going. It's so nice not to have an electronic babysitter in the truck with me.
Oh yeah.
You know, they still got GPS on the trailer, GPS on the tractor. I don't have to fucking push buttons all the time. Adds levels of detail that you just don't put on your paper logs. But if you don't put them on there, you get written up. Hop on, Cyber. We haven't talked for a while. I was chatting with, hey, Paul. I was chatting with Raymond. Actually, we were just exchanging text messages in the comment section of his. Woof woof. RO.
Woof woof.
Well, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Are you done with work?
Yes, I am. I'm home. I'm in my sweats. Life is good.
Oh, I didn't ask you what you were wearing. That's kind of gay.
Well, I was just
I know you miss Outlaw.
demonstrating that I'm in full comfort mode.
Oh, okay. Well, I was chatting with a guy today, and he brought up a very good point.
What's that?
Well, the marketing and everything to the baby boomer had the same effect on society as Mao's Great Leap Forward, where the new government, the young people were forsaking their elders and forsaking traditional culture in their cultural revolution. And we had the same thing going on with the baby boomers, and then each one of these successively named generations. We didn't used to ever name generations until the baby boomers came along.
Yeah.
That's all a Madison Avenue thing to segregate people by age. You know, a generation used to be, you know, your kids were different generations, and you and your parents were different generations. There wasn't a name for it. It just something that was. And I thought that was a very insightful thing that Raymond said, that it was like the Cultural Revolution, or had the same effect as. Maybe it was on purpose, maybe it wasn't, but the effects of it were the same.
Yes, the old Red August.
They like to keep us divided.
Well, they've certainly been working at it.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you mean by Red August?
That's what it's called. It started August 19th.
Oh, the Cultural Revolution?
Yeah, the destruction of the four olds. Old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. That's what Kamala Harris was talking about when she said, and I can see what can be, unburdened by what has been. She's telling people to forget about their history. And you know
Yeah,
what? You
definitely.
know what happens when you forget about your history? You don't learn from it. You know what
No,
happens when you don't learn from your history?
you repeat it.
Exactly. She gave herself away as a Marxist, like flashing neon sign over her head when she said that.
Yeah. Thank God she didn't get elected.
Oh yeah.
So I'd never considered that, you know, the naming of the generations would had that type of a profound effect until I sat down and thought about it. It really has. You know when before the baby boomers, people were just living life. I don't know if to blame that on mass marketing or that's my first inclination, or if it was deeper and more well thought out, rather than just segregating different time periods so you can sell them different shit. But there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that culturally the effects were profound.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
While naming the generations is a recent phenomenon, as you say, something we used to not do, what's your take on 125 years ago, an organization called Daughters of the American Revolution was formed?
uh, it just is one of those things that was. I have no take on
Well, it's like they wanted to be identified by their association, and of course, that's a specific age range.
it. Yeah.
Just something that popped in my head. I was curious about.
Well, they certainly were looking to stand out, to point to some type of a social standing that others wouldn't have because they hadn't been here long enough.
Yeah. Anyway, some people like labels.
Yeah, some people do.
I need to clarify something, or correct myself rather. The the Cultural Revolution that Mao launched was in May of 1966. The massacre began in August. So two significant beginnings of the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't really remember Mao, but I remember Mao's wife being on trial when I was a young kid. And she was publicly executed. That made world news. And it looks like we lost Hebby.
Sir drops a lot, strikes again.
Yep. And Cyber had told me a while back about another interesting thing that the Chinese did. They during the time of Mao, they had everybody, men and women, dressing in the same style clothing. They all were encouraged to get about the same haircuts, not have super long hair anymore if they were women. And they all wore those fucking quilted pajamas everywhere.
I'm not sure that was me.
Well, we were talking about androgyny and, you know, the destruction of gender under communism and how it goes hand in hand with the rise of transvestitism and homosexuality.
Okay. I mean, it certainly sounds like something I would talk about. I just can't recall. But I'm getting older. My memory's not quite what it used to be.
Yeah, this is
Any,
something to go.
any lapse in memory nowadays is just very disappointing to me because it used to be near on perfect.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what the first thing is.
Well, what's
That's a very old joke.
what's the second?
That's an old joke, man.
What's the second?
Well, the second thing that goes your memory. See, that's the joke, but I can't remember what the first thing is. You let everybody just fill in the blank, and everybody gets a good giggle out of it.
I remember back in my teen years when I first started smoking weed, math was the first thing to go. And apparently it's the last thing to come back because I've not smoked any for quite a while now, and my math skills still aren't what they used to be.
Well, Hemi could tell us all about that.
I think weed smokers make great engineers.
You think?
I do.
And why do you say that?
Look at all the contraptions they build to facilitate smoking weed.
Well, as long as they're not chemically manufacturing K2, also known as spice, then it should be okay. Spice is nasty, man. It's fucking terrible.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the spice from Dune.
No, there's a chemically engineered drug called K2. That's what Jordan Neely was alleged to have been on. The guy that got chokeholded in the subway in New York.
Yeah.
And also that guy who is alleged to have set the woman on fire.
He was also on that shit?
Yep. It's a chemically engineered synthetic cannabinoid. So it's supposed to imitate the effects of marijuana, but it causes psychosis, high anxiety, heart problems. It can cause death.
Sounds like they failed.
Yeah, you can overdose on it. From what I've heard, it's not mellow. Just makes people stupid and reduces um, their cognitive abilities, their inhibitions, their connection to people, any kind of conscience.
Yeah. Pretty fucking awful.
I mean, I've known weed to do many different things to many different people, but it seems like this K2 stuff does the same thing to everybody.
In my late teens, I tried weed maybe a half dozen times, if that many, and I just couldn't. It didn't affect me in a way that I wanted to do it again.
Yeah. Well, the first 2 times I smoked it, all it did was give me a headache. And if I hadn't smoked it that third time, I never would have touched it again. Because that third time, boy, I'll tell you what, I was fried out of my mind. Had myself a little radio, the little tiny ones that use the 2 AA batteries. You can slide a mini cassette into it. And I had this little radio, little pocket radio. I was playing tunes. I'd fall asleep. And I was with a good crowd, so they didn't dip my hand in warm water or anything. They just let me zone in and out. I don't know how many hours I was like that, but it was just in and out, in and out.
Well, the first time I tried it, I was with my older brother. We were blowing it out we were in his bedroom and blowing it out the window. And my mother, I think, knocked on the door.
What are you doing there?
And that certainly made it not very enjoyable for me, almost getting caught. But then I went and smoked it over at a buddy's house. And he had a stereo with a record player on it, a couple of headphones with the really long headphone cords, because there wasn't anything wireless back then, and a beanbag chair. And I remember after we got done smoking that joint, I just sort of kicked back in that beanbag chair and listened to Pink Floyd, The Wall. Or not The Wall, The Dark Side of the Moon. And it was awesome.
Melted.
Yeah. I can kind of even remember what it felt like listening to Breathe. Breathe. Breathe in the air. But
Don't be afraid to care.
yeah.
Leave, but don't leave me. Look around. Choose your own ground. But long you live and high you fly, and smiles you'll give and tears you'll cry, and all you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. That's about for me, the way I see it is about the fleeting and fickle world of emotion. You know, if you don't do anything to leave a mark, if you don't do anything to be remembered by, if you're just on a quest for what you can get for yourself right now, when you're gone, that's it.
Balanced on the biggest wave.
You race towards an early grave.
Yeah, it's pretty profound.
Uh-oh, we've got apes.
We got the
Apes
monkey man.
Apes are in the building.
Oh, good.
RO,
Yes, sir.
keep your fleas in order. Don't let them infest this man or this ape.
Apes like to groom each other.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're saying ape's a groomer?
Well, I'm just saying apes like to groom each other.
Okay.
I don't think he's targeting any.
So if he did come home with some RO fleas, his buddies would be like, "Oh, you brought lunch."
Yeah.
You gotta keep them fleas on a short leash, man.
Yeah, I got to be proactive with the flea control on my dogs because the neighbor's dogs are infested and they have contact through the fence line. So,
Yeah.
oh, don't be like that, ape.
Dirty flea infested mongrels.
Yeah. So, when did Sam decide to take up roller derby?
Tonight.
Is he just like knocking the chicks down? Is that what?
Yep.
Okay.
When I was unloading down in Winfield today, they had a county work gang
Uh-oh.
picking up bales of cardboard, and their corrections officer was a buzz cut female
Mm.
who thought that Sam was really cute. He was taking a piss, and she walks up to him. Oh, hello, how are you doing? Oh, you're such a cutie. And she was between Sam and the cab. And she goes to reach for him, and he did not want to be touched. So he avoided and evaded her, and she about bit it because it was kind of icy down there.
Dice los frijoles.
So I thought that pretty good because the little 10-pound dog almost knocked over a 250-pound woman.
Hmm. And they don't go down gracefully.
They don't get back up gracefully either.
And the
Hey.
convicts were sort of snickering.
Ape says you attract lesbians, True Blood.
That's true.
Los frijoles. That's what Sam calls lesbians.
Yeah.
He said, no me gustan los frijoles. No toques mi salchicha.
No me gusta los huevos and un chorizo. I probably fucked that all up. I hardly have spoken Spanish since 2014. When I left Texas.
You said huevos rancheros con chorizo, right?
Yeah, but that's like breakfast food. I was trying to say, because I know the Mexicans that I knew called your balls huevos, right?
Yeah.
And one Mexican chick I dated after my first divorce, she called my cock a chorizo.
Well, that's flattering.
Yeah. She also called me jefe.
Big boss man.
She was kind of a little crazy. That's all.
So you're saying she was hot.
Yeah. She wasn't all that good looking, but she was a fun girl.
So I went back to that Karen customer's house today and yesterday.
Oh, the Our Lady of the Paint, or of the painter's tape.
No, that was a different lady. The lady that put tape everywhere. I don't even know her name.
Oh, okay.
It might have been Karen or Blanche or something snooty like that.
Yeah.
Most of the customers I work for are like high class. They're not always snooty, but almost always high class.
Yeah.
Like I'm I'm doing finish work on $1 million homes on a weekly basis. But the Karen lady was the one who I never had any communication with her. She was trying to get messages to my boss by having her husband talk to me.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
And I think I know why he seemed to be a nervous wreck. And I don't know exactly, but I think it has something to do with work in Mexico. And I was wondering when I met him if he was law enforcement or something, just because of the way he stood, body posture, the way he used his voice and all that.
Right.
But there was still this nervousness about him. And even if I were to ask if I were right, he wouldn't be able to tell me anyway.
Right.
But he's not been there. He wasn't there yesterday or today. She said something about him being at work in Mexico. And I'm putting these things together like, I wonder if he's got a very important and high stress job, that he can't help but bring home because everything going on in his head. If he works for ICE or fighting cartels or something, he wouldn't be able to tell me anyway.
No. Or who knows? Maybe he works for the cartels.
But I'd kind of doubt that.
What?
But
You don't
anything's
think
possible.
You don't think a cop could go work for the cartels?
Well, they'd certainly be in a position to. But I scared the shit out of him one day. All I did was walk in. He's like, "Oh," scared the hell out of me. I didn't know anybody was outside. I was thinking in my usual smart-ass thoughts that everybody is outside except for the people that are in here. Everybody. The only people who aren't outside are the ones that are in here. But yeah, I guess snuck past him when I went to go out for a cigarette. I came back in, and that's when he noticed me. It's like, "Hey, man." I have this job because it's in construction, but it's not a high stress environment. Not a lot of loud stuff. A lot of times there's no noise at all. So that got me thinking, you must really have something stressful going on if you're that jumpy. And for a while, until yesterday, I thought it might be because his wife's name is Karen.
Ah,
Like, you guys don't know what it's like
well,
after all the construction workers leave.
yeah. The only time I ever felt I was in danger from a policeman was when I quit Raytheon and surrendered my clearance. They have you do a out processing interview, and the guy who did the interview had me do that interview at the police station there in Waco, Texas. And you have to go through a metal detector to get into the police station. And I, at that period of time, carried my chewing tobacco in my sock because I was always wearing like slacks for work. I wasn't wearing the overalls. And I forgot that I had the chewing tobacco in my sock, and the metal detector went off. And I said, I forgot to take this out. And I hiked my leg up so I could pull the chewing tobacco out of my sock, and I throw it in the little basket. I turn around, and this fucker's got his gun drawn on me.
What did you do?
I looked at him, and I said, put that shit away. He says, you don't know how close you came to dying. It's like, motherfucker. Fuck you. You need to take a fucking chill pill. Take a can of chew out of my sock and have some motherfucker stand there with a goddamn gun on me. I would hate to go through life that fucking paranoid.
Yeah, that sucked. Unfortunately, the more hate they get as a whole, the more the good ones tend to leave. Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
That collective blame is just, it's a detriment to any kind of order. Collective blame on white people, black people, police.
I try not to do that kind of stuff.
The Israelites.
Whoever. You know, just like every other form of collectivism. It's not supposed to be who we are as Americans. Individual rights, individual liberties, individual responsibility. Anytime you embrace collectivism, you are shitting on your heritage, your birthright.
Yep. And I've noticed a lot of waiving of individual accountability tending to add more collective blame and hate towards those groups, whatever it may be. And groups like the ADL, SPLC, they contribute more to the problem they claim to be stopping than they do to prevent it.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of how the ADL was founded. You know, the block that the whole thing was built on. That one guy, I forget his name, but
I wanted to say Schweitzer, but I don't think that's
and the other day I tried for 5 minutes.
Schweitzer was a philosopher.
The other day I tried for 5 minutes to share two passage references of scripture with a guy, while two other people were just ranting and raving, carrying on about, I'm up here trying to teach the Bible and all kinds of shit. And 5 minutes later, they're talking about how they believe in creation and how I'm a pagan and shouldn't be teaching the Bible. But apparently, I'm pagan because I'm white.
Oh, you ran into some of the Israelites.
No, these two were just. They were coping really hard with their own, I guess, mediocre lives, because everything coming out of them was projection, and I could sense it was due to them having been racially stereotyped and not having confronted the situation then with the person who was doing it. So they just wanted to get back at those people who are no longer around. So they're just going to lash out at some other white boy. This one guy.
Now, speaking of other white boys, welcome to the show, Ape.
Greetings.
Greetings, the Vanilla Gorilla.
That's male monkey to you, simpleton.
Oh,
I put a great zinger in there on you,
Ape.
True Blood. Nobody read it.
Oh, I hate it when that happens. Would you care
When you
to
had
enlighten me?
Well, when you had your little chewing tobacco incident with the cops,
Yeah?
I did a little play on an old advertisement. He thought you were the Skull Butt Bandit.
Oh!
Trying to tap his can.
Touche. Well, I'm eating my last round of pork rind nachos, True Blood.
Oh, man.
That was what
That's
that was what Grinch said. He said the guy was afraid you were going to tap his can.
Looks like I got to go to work tomorrow for some overtime.
oh.
Well, I don't think the previous guy would have done this, but I only have 4 locomotives in 2 sets. So two locomotive sets. Well, we had one hurt itself and needs to go back to the shop and get repaired. Well, all day today, no one got us another locomotive up here. So I was on the phone with the dispatchers and down in Fort Worth and all that. And finally, I got a hold of the guy, and he says, I'm going to go talk to the chief dispatcher. He's the one that makes the calls about stuff. So he calls me back, and he says, there's a train, and he gave me the number. He says it should be putting a motor on the back of it and dragging it up there to you, but there's no crew, and it hasn't been called. And I looked at the locomotives, and there's only one on the front and one on the back. It's an empty going to the mines up in Wyoming. So they haven't put an extra motor on it, and it hadn't been called. And this is now 11:30 noon. That's about the time I leave. I usually get home around that time, about noon. And so I called the supervisor, and I said, I can call the shop superintendent if you want to stay out of it. And I was told, no, if you need to go work overtime, and then just email me the hours. I said, all right. Well, Monday I had overtime. I haven't had overtime on this job. When things go well, it's pretty, you don't need to work overtime. But Monday I had it, Wednesday I had it, and now Saturday I'm going to have it. But I told him I'd go up there, and once they get the motor up there, I'll go up there and hook up the stuff that I need to hook up on the machine, because it has an automated pin lifter that is hooked into the radio system. So they key a code as they're pushing the motors up, the train up a hill. They key a code, and this a pneumatic pin lifter pops the pin, and then they just slow down, and the train moves away from them. They don't have to go out there on a moving train and manually pull the pin, which is illegal for them, or against the rules, I should say. So you got to hook this up and get it all functioning. I said, well, I'll go there tomorrow, because I said, who knows when this train's going to get here? It could be this afternoon. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. It's probably, the motor's probably sitting there right now, but I'm not going to drive up there and go work in the dark when I can work in the light. So I'll go up there tomorrow, probably about 6 in the morning. I don't need to leave at 3 in the morning like I usually do. At 3:30, I'll go up there about 6 when it's getting ready. The sun's ready to come up, and go take care of it. But this week alone, I've had more overtime than I've had in 3 months on the job. It's been one of those weeks. So, not too bad. And I take offense that RO's calling me a groomer. That was bad. He's a bad dog. He's a bad boy.
Wait a minute. I specified that you groomed other apes. I didn't.
You said he likes to groom.
I take offense at Ape saying that RO called you a groomer when it was me.
Well, RO started the whole situation with his wisecrack. He should be going there and picking fleas and eating them off of his dog right now. So take care of his dog.
My dogs.
That would only be fair.
My dogs are covered in veterinary prescribed pesticides. Any fleas jump on them, they die soon after.
Well, you could just turn your neighbors into the ATF, and they'll come take care of them dogs for you on a no-knock raid at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, you fucking idiot.
Sorry, I was trying to be funny.
No, not you. I'm driving past a truck stop, and somebody missed the edge of the parking area and drove their truck into, a place you're not supposed to drive a truck.
Drainage ditch?
Yeah, kind of. But there's
I saw him like right when you started explaining, because the difference or the delay between the visual and the audio. Right when you started explaining, you were passing the guy on video.
And there's only one way you do that. That's if you're parking and you don't set your brakes.
I wonder if he was a DEI hire.
I don't know, but I know he's got a $1,000 tow bill coming up this evening. Probably more than that, because we're way out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Unless he's got some kitty litter in his truck.
Oh, there ain't no fucking getting out of that.
Axle on the ground?
Yeah. Once you get off into the snow like that on a downhill, you ain't getting out of it.
Not even with kitty litter?
Not even with kitty litter or chains or anything.
How about clitty litter? Can you get out with clitty litter?
You might be able to get out with clitty litter
Ew, brother.
if you're a
Ew.
lesbian.
Ew.
RO,
What's
you getting any snow?
No, sir. We didn't get any ice, no snow, just cold temperatures and overcast. So we dodged that bullet.
When you say cold, like 45?
Mid to low 30s.
I went to work the other morning. It was -1, and with the wind chill, it was -8. Felt like -8. I was like, "Oh, that's nice." And then stood out in it for an hour pumping oil into a locomotive. It sucked.
Well, it's 15 degrees here.
Are you in Kansas?
Yep, I am about halfway between Emporia and Wichita on I-35.
Ah,
I'm going into the the fourth night that it's getting below freezing this year. This is how it normally is for, I don't know, maybe 2 months of the winter season, but this year it's been warm.
I
guess
have.
this is the first time it's been below freezing for more than just a couple hours at a time.
Years ago, I was here at work, and it was 55 degrees below zero.
Wow.
And that's why
And
I will never live out there.
there was a kid that was pretty young. He was pretty naive, and I said, "Do you ever see water instantly freeze?" And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, you ever see water instantly freeze and disappear? It just evaporates, yeah, or goes away." And he goes, "What do you mean?" So I walked over to the coffee machine, and it has a hot water dispenser, and I poured it like an 8-ounce cup of hot water, and I says, "Come here," and I kicked the door open, and I threw the water up in the air, and it just turned into a vapor cloud and disappeared. He's like, "Whoa!" When it gets that cold, you can throw hot water up into the air and it won't hit the ground.
Yeah, I've only ever seen that on videos.
Yeah, it's pretty wild when you do it, and you, wow, that's cold.
It's cold as balls.
Yeah, you don't want to be outside trying to take a piss because you got some shrinkage factor as soon as that cold air hits you. You're digging.
You can't clear the zipper.
That's right. God, one time, oh man, me and one of my very close friends, he was the first guy I met at the railroad when I hired on 30 years ago. He lives in Lincoln now. He doesn't work for the railroad no more. But I went over to his place, and it was wintertime. It was cold as shit. And we went down to the bars, and he lives, oh Christ, probably a mile. He lives a mile away from downtown Lincoln, where all the bars are. You know, there's a ton of them because it's a university town. And we go down, walking down there, and we're drinking and having a good time and everything. And we start walking back to his house, and we're walking through like it. It was cold. It was cold, but they had enough like mag chloride or something on the roads that there was standing water at the curbs with ice and slush in it. You know, it wasn't like frozen solid. It was still, you'd step in it and you'd go up to your ankle if you weren't watching what you're doing. But it was still really cold that night. And we were walking in front of the state capitol building. And I'm like, "Man, I gotta piss." And he goes, "Yeah, I do too." I said, "Man, I'm stopping." And I ducked in behind a tree, and I'm looking right at the Capitol building, and it's called in Nebraska and Lincoln, and everybody calls it the prick of the prairie because as you're coming in into Lincoln, it's relatively flat, and there's this giant phallic symbol sticking up out of the middle of nowhere, and it looks like a giant prick, and so that's what people call it, the prick of the prairie. So I'm up against a tree taking a piss, and he says, he says, he says, I've learned this over the years. He says, you just unzip and you just keep walking, and then nobody stops you, and the cops won't get you for urinating in public. I said, oh yeah, show me how you do this. And he's walking up ahead of me, and he says, I'm pissing right now. And I start laughing. I get done, and I catch up with him, and we finally get back to his place and get back into his apartment. And he turns around, and I look at him. I just busted up laughing. I almost fell down. It was so cold out, he didn't realize that while he was walking, he was pissing right down the front of his jeans.
Yeah.
So he has this giant wet spot, and it's frozen. Because it was long enough that it had froze on his pants, and he gets into the apartment. He's like, "Holy shit! Oh man!" He looks down. He goes, "Fuck, that didn't work out real good." He turns around. I see this, and it looks like somebody just, it looked like he pissed himself, but it was frozen. I said, I learned a lesson. You don't try to do a walk-in piss. He called them. And you don't try to do a walk-in piss when it's like 15 degrees out.
Shrinks like a frightened turtle.
Oh God, I laughed so hard, man. And he's laughing, and he's like, I gotta get these damn pants off. And he says they're frozen to me.
So does that prick of the prairie, does it look shorter in the wintertime?
No, it was very impressive. I got to take a tour. I didn't go up into the tower, but I got to take a tour of the Capitol building one time. And this was years ago. I'm sure they have security now where you can't. We went to go see a state senator, and so we went to go talk to our local guy who was on a union trip, and we went to go talk to our local senator. And so we walk in there, and we're walking around, and it's actually a really impressive building. The other parts of it, and it's all marble. The whole the walls are marble, the floor is marble, and all the offices for all the state reps and senators, well, it's a unicameral. We're one of the few states it's a unicameral. We don't have like a House and a Senate type deal. It's all one. But all the doors to all the offices are these huge, thick oak doors. And they're all dark, real dark, almost black, but they're really, really dark. But we were walking around in this building, and there was no cops, didn't see anybody, no metal detectors, nothing, just walking around in the Capitol building. And we finally found this guy's office and knocked on the door, and he opened it up. And, well, hey, what's going on, fellas? Hey, we want to talk to you about some stuff. Oh, come on in. But yeah, it's kind of a neat building. The architecture on it is fantastic, and that's something I like. I like looking at old stuff and seeing how, just kind of looking at how it was built, and just looking at the craftsmanship compared to the dog shit that they make now.
Yeah.
And also, it's a testament of a government that's not afraid of its own people.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that now there's probably it's probably one way in, one way out, and the state patrol is the governing police force in the building. So,
What's that thing they like to say? You weren't doing anything wrong. You got nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. Yeah, answer our questions. If you weren't guilty, you'd answer our questions. Yeah, fuck you. I don't answer questions.
Miranda rights say anything you say can and will be used against you. It doesn't say anything about helping you.
You have no obligation to help a law enforcement official investigate yourself. You don't have any obligation to help them. And usually when you talk to cops, you never talk yourself out of an arrest. If they're going to arrest you, they're going to arrest you. But you can always talk yourself into one.
I had a cop ask me one time. He was just giving me the basic rundown. You've been drinking tonight. You got any drugs or any knives or needles, hand grenades, anything on you like that? I was like, hand grenades? Like in my pockets?
That's a
I
class
just,
3 felony, sir.
I was just,
Class 3 NFA item.
I was
Yeah.
just,
You
I
got
was
any hand
smiling.
grenades in your prison wallet?
I was smiling ear to ear because I knew what he was doing. He was trying to just get me to negate, right? Just no, 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 no. And they play this little mind game on you. And he said hand grenades. I cracked a smile and turned my head. I was like, hand grenades? Like in my pocket or something? You're like, what? Why would I need those? He's like, well, it's just something that we ask. I was like, why on earth would you ask citizens who are walking around if they have hand grenades on them? Are we in a demilitarized zone or something? And the whole time I've got half a joint in my cheek. Like it was unsmoked, right? It wasn't a roach, so it wasn't stinking or anything, but
Should have just said, I got a can of chew in my sock.
it was behind my ear when he hit the lights. And as I turned to my left, I pulled it out from behind my right ear with my right hand. I looked over and I turned back around, kept walking a little bit, and then he hit the buzzer like, "Arr!" And I put it in my cheek. And I turned around and just stood there. Like he acted like I was supposed to come up to his car. I just stood there, made him get out of his car and come and talk to me.
Yeah, they can be pretty lazy. They expect a bark and order, and you're just supposed to bow down to them.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of when the cops showed up at this garage that I was painting. And I was wondering if they were going to show up too, because there's this old lady that stopped right there when we were pulling things out, putting them on the side of the house because we were supposed to paint the walls. Anything that was up against the wall, like there were some car doors in there. We moved those out. But this old lady, probably about 60 or something, fucking battle axe that,
Grandma Karen.
yeah, she's got to go on her daily walk after she yells at her husband. But she stopped right there on the sidewalk and was looking in. And I came out of the garage and I gave her like a soldier salute, like clicked my heels together and put my hand up over my eyebrows.
There's some junkie robbing a garage, officer.
Yeah. But anyway, the cops showed up right when I had just dipped my brush and started cutting a line. And he was walking up and said, "Hey." And I continue cutting my line. And he got a fucking attitude about that I didn't drop everything I was doing and go over there and start polishing his shoes. But after I finished, got the paint off of my brush and got it leveled out, because I didn't know how long I was going to be talking to him. I don't want the paint to dry up in a big clump or start running down the wall. I got a job to do too. But
Oh, when you said cutting a line, I thought you were laying out some coke. This story's going to get real interesting.
no, I was drawing a line with my paintbrush.
Yeah.
Cutting the wall in along the ceiling. And as soon as I had it leveled out, I put my stuff down and walked out there. And he's like, I was wondering if you heard me. I was like, yes, sir, I heard you. I had to finish what I was doing before I could set this down so it doesn't dry on me. He's like, well, we got called over here, had a report that someone was breaking in. It's like, I reached over the gate so that I could get in to the garage through the back door that was unlocked. It was left unlocked for me so that I could paint this garage. It's like, well, somebody thought you were robbing the place. I was like, yeah, I know who it was. You should probably go and have a chat with that lady and ask her why she's making a false report. He's like, well, she doesn't know exactly what's going on here. I was like, how could she not know? I'm dressed in painting clothes. There's paint outside here. We've got old tools from yesterday when we painted the house, the interior of the house. I got paint on my hands. She looked straight at me, and I looked at her and gave her a salute. I think she just didn't have anything better to do than waste y'all's time. He's like, well, that happens sometimes. It's like, yeah, that's why I'm saying you should probably go and have a talk with her. It's like, I really don't know who it was that called.
Oh, that's their favorite excuse. We got a call. 9 times out of 10, if they're just looking to bust your balls, they didn't get a call. But I'm sure that old lady probably did call him. Otherwise, he probably didn't randomly just show up.
Yeah, I know she did. The way she was looking in, like that, like as if it was her garage. But I talked to the owner a little later about it, and he knew exactly who I was talking about. And he's like, yeah, she's all over the place.
Maybe they should start calling the cops on her when she's walking. She looks awful suspicious.
She's casing
That's
the
right.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
I think she's got burglary tools on her.
Yeah, if I had thought of that, I might have actually done that. Said, well, I'd like to file a report on this old lady who lives 2 houses down over here, because when I was pulling these things out of the garage to paint it, she stopped and she was like looking in, and I think she might be planning to come and burglarize this place later tonight. So y'all might want to patrol this area all night long.
She wanted me out of here so she could burgle the garage.
Yeah. Steal some car doors and barbells and shit. I've done like 5 or 6 different jobs for that guy. He owns a bunch of different places. 2 of them are like residential properties, and then 3 others, all in this one area. Brandon, remember me telling you how I went and painted a Chemtex laboratory?
Yeah.
He owns the property that lab is on.
Oh, cool.
But that was the guy who hired us to go and paint there. Or chemical analysts. Like they're analyzing the extractions.
This place that does auto body work and I think they buy total cars and then completely go through them and then resell them. One morning, he owns like, I think he owns like 4 buildings on this block, and there's junked cars everywhere, and always a flatbed with something coming in and everything. Well, one morning I went by this one building, and I didn't know these cars were in this building, but the light was on in there, and as I drove by, I could just see into the place. And he's got 269 orange Judge GTO Judges in there, and he's got a Camaro, looks like a '69 Camaro, and some other car that I couldn't tell what it was. I knew the Judge when I saw the bright orange GTO, and I could see the trunk and see the wing on the trunk, that they put on the Judges. On, like, say, was it 69 and 70, I think. But yeah, I drove by this and I looked. I said, "Holy crap! That dude's got a lot of money in cars sitting in there." So I went by one other day, and they had that room completely masked off from floor to ceiling with this thick plastic. And they had made that room into a paint booth. So I don't know what he was what car he was painting, but. Yeah, I think he's got some gems hidden in that building there that not everybody knows about.
That's one kind of painting I've never done, is auto detail.
I think it takes a good hand at it, because a lot of people I know have tried it, and you end up with orange peel. The paint looks like orange peel when it sets. Now the dog found her squeaky ball because I'm on the phone, not paying attention to her. So you're gonna be a nuisance, aren't you? Yeah. I better get off of here and play with her, otherwise she's gonna drive me nuts.
Make sure you groom her.
You shut your whore mouth, RO. You ever meet RO, you got permission to bite him. Yeah, you bite him. Yeah, we're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to teach you how to sit. That's right. So, all right, you guys have a good evening. I'm going to play with this dog.
Good night, Mr.
Yeah, I got to I don't have to go to bed at 8 like I usually do, because I don't think I'm going to get up at 2:30. But I'm going to get up early enough.
Good night, Abe, and let's
have
steak and eggs for breakfast.
I had a ribeye for breakfast this morning.
From delivery.
What's that?
1 pound.
Yeah.
1 pound.
1 pound ribeye for breakfast this morning at work. Put her on the grill at about 9:30.
Nice.
I think I've eaten a ribeye every morning for the last week.
Hey, are you married?
No.
No wonder you can afford that.
Yeah. That guy asked me one day, "Young man, how can you eat a steak every day for lunch?" And I was at work at the diesel shop, and I looked at him and I said, "Well, it's easy." And he looks at me. I said, "I'm not married." And he looked down, and you could tell he was defeated. And he goes, "You've got a really good point." Because I think he's retired now. He's been retired for several years. He comes by at lunch and plays cards with some of the fellas, and I think he's on his third or fourth.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know it's at least 3. And he's been married to this gal for, gosh, probably 20 years. He's like 60, 65, 68, something like that. Real nice guy. He's a carpenter by trade. You know, at work he worked for B&B, but he did a lot of carpentry work, and he's real good at it. Very, very good guitar player too. He's been playing guitar for like 50 years. Cool guy, but yeah, he sure likes being married. But yeah, when I told him that, I said, "Yeah, it's easy. I eat steak every day because I'm not married." And he just kind of shook his head. Yeah, you got a point. And then everybody else at the table, uh, two of the other guys were married, and one of them's got a living girlfriend that they've been together with for. I mean, they've been together a long time. And they all just kind of looked at each other and looked down. they're all they're all eating horsecock sandwiches. I roll in, they're eating a freaking bologna sandwich and a bag of Lay's potato chips, and I roll in with a steak. So, all right, fellas, you have a good evening. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Later, Abe.
Good night, Abe.
Night.
Fucking groomer.
That's a good story right there.
Wichita, 12 miles.
Yeehaw! Where are you going to park? Walmart?
I'm going to park right there at the Walmart
The store or DC?
store.
Okay.
Because I am working for the DC, delivering to stores. That's what they got me doing.
Yeah.
Of course, I got to go all the way to the west side of Wichita. And I'm on the east side.
You want to be west side?
So I'm going to get off here at Highway 400, cut across.
Are you loaded?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
With dry goods.
Got a load of dry goods in your rear, huh?
Yep.
No lube for you.
Nope, not even close.
So you're just doing a bunch of short hauls lately?
Yep, I am yesterday and today, and I've been working for Walmart. Our company has a temporary
Contract.
contract with them folks. Sorry, I started to yawn right in the middle of the sentence.
I just spent $300 at Walmart just today.
Damn, what'd you buy?
Groceries.
Well, that's like 2 months worth for a bachelor.
Yeah, something like that. I'll probably have it all gone in a month.
Well, we had a winter storm warning for the past 2 days, and it didn't hit us hard at all. We really didn't get anything. My son's school was canceled today because of all the forecast, but there was no reason for him to be out of school. The roads were fine, no ice, no snow.
Oh shit. Speaking of ice, I got a brush and a foam roller in a bucket outside that I need to bring in. I'll be back in a
right.
minute.
Can 4.
Because if I don't, this sash is going to break. If the water freezes, it's going to bust.
Plus, it'll be really, really unpleasant to pack out tomorrow morning. The frozen water. When I was selling my house in Waco, I was parked down the street watching as people were coming to do the showing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my dog at the time and my kids, and the people who we parked in front of ran a daycare. And I'd been living there for 4 fucking years. And they called the cops on us. And we have a cop pull up in front and a cop pull in behind. It's like some military maneuver. They're like, what are you doing? It's a public street, isn't it? I'm parked. Why are you here? Well, that's my house down there, and they're showing it. It's for sale. And we're watching to see if the people come and look for a long time or if they just go in and go out. Well, the lady that lives here. So like Cyber Toxin's story. The lady that lives here is scared. She thinks you're criminals. I'm her fucking neighbor. What are you talking about? So, I know what he was going through. But I wound up taking the guy through her. There was a guy and a chick. And I wound up taking the guy through the house because I had some stuff I was trying to sell. And he bought my pool table.
Okay.
So it wasn't an awful thing. They came by. I didn't want to move that fucking pool table.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge hassle.
Oh, I'll never own another one. This was a Brunswick with a slate top. And it was really fucking heavy.
I can imagine.
Old pool table. Old. One and a quarter mile to Highway 400. Yay.
I drove a grand total of 30 miles today. They took me off my normal route and put me on the local route, and I just drove, which was fine. I like doing something different every now and then.
Yeah.
Grinch says Zeke likes Wavy Lay's chips.
Zeke likes what?
Wavy Lay's brand potato chips.
Huh.
That's just uncouth.
I kind of agree with the dog. They're good. Do not stop, the sign says. Okay. I can get behind that.
Was that a way station?
No, that was the automatic toll. It used
You
to
got a
be a toll
sticker?
booth, but they got rid of all the toll booths in Kansas. No, I don't have a sticker. I have Pro Pass. I have absolutely no idea what the speed limit is through here.
You better drive 45 just to be safe.
That's kind of what I'm doing. And we're just south of the old Beechcraft factory. I am actually very sad that company went down. I really liked working for Beechcraft. Oh, it's 60.
You take my license and all that jive. I can drive 55.
Yep. Let's see how far I need to go. .5 miles.
What is this world coming to? A man can't enjoy ruffles, ridges, and peace without somebody talk about wavy lays.
Well, don't sleep on the Pringles.
They can't even call Pringles potato chips. They have to call them potato product.
What I like best about Pringles is all the different flavors,
Yeah.
special flavors. You got Philly steak, you got all dressed, bunch of different stuff. The next best thing about them is they come in a tube.
Yeah. I got a couple of cans in my pantry. They're mainly for my son when he comes over.
And you put some butter in a pan and get it melting, and then add a little bit of hot water to it, and then a whole can of crushed Pringles, and keep adding a little bit of water as necessary. And once you mix it all up, you got whatever flavor mashed potatoes you want.
Well, Mr. Toxin, that begs the question. Why not just buy potatoes?
Because then you'd have to buy all the flavorings and stuff.
Yeah, some seasoning salt, some black pepper, some paprika. Make sure you have some onion to chop up and throw in there.
I like onions. They make
Yeah.
people cry. They make people cry. And sometimes you just gotta let it out.
True Blood, it's been a while since I sent you any potato porn, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
I'll have to get on top of that.
I've got the map program open right now, so that's why you can't see anything.
It's all good.
Because my company GPS is dead.
Oh, joy.
It is actually quite a joy because the electronic logbooks are not working. So I'm keeping paper logs. And it's quite liberating.
Are you
And
enjoying this change of pace?
I am.
Well, good.
I was getting very frustrated with my work after how they go to an appointment that wasn't scheduled, then took half a day to decide to do what I proposed in the fucking morning.
What time do you deliver tomorrow?
Say it again, RO.
What time do you deliver tomorrow?
Oh, I delivered tonight.
Oh, they're going to unload you tonight.
Yep, they wanted it tonight. So they said, how many hours you got left? And I said, 4. He said, all right, it's your job. You can go sleep in the parking lot.
Have you been shopping yet?
Nope, but I plan on doing it tonight.
You gonna get some Pringles?
I might. I like the salt and vinegar myself.
Yeah, they're very very good actually.
We are looking for I-235. Not that you guys can help me out because I have your camera turned off.
There it is, turd.
But
Oh, there it isn't.
Oh, we
it's
got
just,
Father Sanders, Dr. Dre in the chat.
oh my God. And how many people are on the panel?
Tree.
3.
Tree.
How many musketeers were there?
All for one and one for all.
No, the answer's
So
3. How many
Bud,
stooges were there?
at a time 3, but altogether 4. If you count Shemp, but not everybody
At a
does.
time. No.
Well, there was Ship,
How many?
there was Curly, and there was Joe.
How many?
Joe.
How many Pep Boys?
You got me there.
3.
You know, all this talk at 3 reminds me of something that old Sleepy Joe's grandpappy used to tell him when they were living in the mountains of Delaware.
Oh, what's that?
He said, "Look here, Esther, there are 3 types of people in this world: those who can count and those who can't."
That's right.
Something else he used to tell him is, "Look here, Esther, if it ain't broken, just keep trying to fix it till it is." I think he took that one to heart.
Yeah. Go a long way with it. Thinking like that. How many fingers can Saunders fit in his butthole?
All of them.
3. The answer to all of these questions is the same, RO.
I'm not playing.
I know, and I'm pissed.
Don't be pissed.
How many holes in Orion's belt?
3.
0. They're stars, not holes. I like those trick questions.
I don't think you understand the game.
Maybe Aro can explain it to me. Maybe.
I doubt it.
All I know is my ex is in Mexico, and I haven't heard any stories about her being abducted or anything. So I'm kind of disappointed.
Hmm. Well, what does that have to do with 3?
Nothing at all. Just a random thought that occurred to me.
Oh, speaking of random thoughts, how many holes do they have to fuck?
All of them.
3.
3. The answer is 3.
I'm starting to get it. How many pigs did the big bad wolf threaten?
3.
How many hairs on his chinny chin chin?
3.
3.
Father Saunders says the chat and the panel can eat a dick.
And how many dicks are in that bag?
3. I guess that's one for each of us, huh?
Oh!
Unless Aro eats them all first.
He probably will.
Hey.
They're barbecued.
Barbecued. That was funny, Ape.
I will.
When Ape said that these other guys were eating horse dick sandwiches.
I think he said horse cock.
I didn't catch it at first, but then he said baloney. I was like, oh, okay.
So is
Oscar-
Saunders enjoying
Os-
his game?
I think he was, and then Grinch distracted him. Grinch distracted him with the old Five Guys routine. Grinch says he doesn't like the French fries from Five Guys.
I don't need 5 Guys. They're fucking expensive.
I've never had Five Guys.
You haven't missed anything. It's completely average, but they charge you fucking premium price.
Have you ever even had one guy?
That's none of your business, sir. No, thank you to stay out of my personal affairs.
Well, he did
So what-
say affairs.
That's a classic line from Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
What are each of your favorite fries? Like Arby's, McDonald's, Burger King, Rally's.
The Chick-fil-A waffle fries are pretty good,
Oh,
but only when they're hot. Once they cool down, I'm not into them anymore.
yeah,
I'm more of
those
a
are pretty
tater
good.
tot guy. I like tater tots better than fries.
Y'all ever been to a Raising Cane's?
Yep.
My daughter gets takeout from there all the freaking time, and I have never had it.
You haven't missed anything. It's just fucking chicken tenders.
Yeah. That's what she likes.
They got some pretty good chicken tenders.
Father Saunders says tater tots are good, especially with ranch. I'm
I
not
like
down with the ranch.
I like the cheese tater tots from Sonic.
I like the mozzarella sticks with marinara.
Those are good too.
Yeah, that's my jam.
I've started eating mozzarella sticks with buffalo sauce. It's even better.
I've always liked the Arby's curly fries,
Oh, those are good too.
but my favorite straight fries come from Rally's or Checkers, depending on where you are in the States.
In the town, right, or the big town that's close to where I grew up, they had a drive-through or drive-in that's now closed. That had the best fucking shoestring fries I've ever had in my life.
I'm a fan of the shoestring. When they're done right, they're fucking delicious.
Yes, they are.
Now, do you eat one at a time, or do you grab like a handful and just shove them in there?
It just depends.
Well, when it's curly fries, I like to grab them one at a time and straighten them out. Father Saunders said, "They make straight fries? Don't tell the weirdos." Don't you mean cis fries? The cis heteronormative fries from Burger Queen.
Every once in a while, I like a good steak fry.
Yep.
Big old wedge of potato fried up.
Uh-huh.
Saunders says he likes privileged fries.
He probably puts fucking avocado on them.
He probably dips his fries in mayonnaise, fucking pervert.
Pro tip, when you're traveling overseas, never eat anything with mayonnaise.
Why is that?
It will save you from getting diarrhea.
Do they do their mayo different in overseas?
They a lot of fucking places don't fucking refrigerate it.
Oh. You know, when I was working in the sheriff's office for the jail, one thing I noticed, they could buy mayonnaise on commissary, but they had no way to refrigerate it once they broke the seal.
Don't they do the little fucking packages?
No, they buy jars.
That's fucking nasty.
I agree. I guess they put a bunch of preservatives and shit in it, but no, they didn't refrigerate their mayonnaise.
They keep it cold in the toilet water.
Saunders says zinc sauce is now on sale.
Why is it on sale?
Good little time in the market.
Was there too much of it, or has it started to turn? The refrigeration system broke down. Got to get rid of it.
There's a surplus of zinc.
Would you ever buy mayonnaise on clearance?
Oh my god.
Sounds like something Outlaw would do.
There's a reason things are on clearance, you know.
I remember him getting sick off eating them fucking Vienna sausages. They were in over a year past their sell by date or their use by date.
Boo. I bought a bike one time that was on clearance, and I ended up finding out why. It
Missing
was
a few pieces.
no, it was an engineering design. Whenever you would shift down into the highest gear, or I guess that would be lowest gear,
Yeah.
you know, to where you pedal really fast, the derailleur would get caught in the spokes because the wheels were extra wide. I forget just how wide they were, but they're like extra wide. Really good for off-roading. Really good on turns. Not so good on hills because you had a lot of drag because the large surface area, right? But whenever you shift all the way down, for example, when you're trying to go up a hill and you're just pedaling really fast, that derailleur would be so close to the spokes that it would get caught in them.
Hmm.
And that happened to me twice. And I threw the thing away. First time it happened, I bought a new derailleur, put it on, and like less than 2 months later, same thing happened. Snapped it off. I threw that son of a bitch away. It was like a $300 bike marked down to $180. It's like, oh wow, that's a deal. It wasn't. I got exactly what I paid for.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for anybody who bought it at $300. Or the 280 something.
Well, I know that Saunders bought a bike for his son and he got $100 discount. I know that because he told me about it 16 times.
Yeah. He got $100 off.
He asked for the military discount. He said, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
He said, sorry, I meant to tell you 17 times. My bad.
Saunders is fucking awesome. That's all I gotta say. Saunders is fucking awesome. Okay.
Are you sure that he didn't just tell you once and you were listening in while he told 15 other different people?
No.
Oh, no, you had to be there. He told us the same fucking story literally a dozen times.
All right.
Right. Saunders, we get it.
Okay, I'm here.
You're here.
I'm here. What am I carrying?
Dry goods.
Yeah, that's what I said, but I'm looking for it on the paperwork.
Pinto beans.
Los frijoles.
Dry goods could also refer to 60-year-old women on Tinder.
Frost
Uh,
Frost just got here and he brought threes.
oh, good. Saunders will like that.
We had a whole game earlier, Frost. Brandon was
So-
asking us like how many Stooges are there?
How many musketeers?
Yeah, Musketeers. Once I figured it out, I asked how many little pigs did the bad wolf threaten? It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, Ro wouldn't play because he's gay.
I did play. What the fuck are you talking about?
He wouldn't answer fucking 3.
I said, how many hairs on his chinny chin chin? 3. I
Yeah.
played along.
Sort of.
Sorry I didn't dance to your tune.
Yeah,
How many strikes do you get in baseball?
3.
But 4 fouls.
That's right. Well, which side is fucking which? Which side's grocery? Which side's fucking dry goods? I can't tell.
Just go knock on the door and say, hello?
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I can't fucking tell.
What fucking dock is this?
Yeah.
How many sides does a circle have?
2.
3.
Inside and outside.
3. A left side, a right side, and an inside.
That's not correct.
What
No.
about the outside?
It's
Well,
inside
that would
and
be-
the outside. That's it.
That would be on the left and the right side.
Nope.
No?
You were wrong, sir.
What
All right.
well how
Sam?
many sides does a rhombus have?
I'll be right back. I got to de-water the dog and then go ask where the fuck do I put the truck?
All right. Good luck with all that. Grinch, I think you mean Trailer Park Girls.
Seraphim, you do know that Flanders' son's brother is also his son, right? No, I'm messing with you. He said, "Enjoy your time with your sons, Brother Flanders." But you read it differently. Enjoy your time with your son's brother, Flanders.
Well, his son's brother would also be his son,
Right.
I assume. I don't know if there's been any DNA testing or not. Don't you pop off in here, Grinch.
Well, when they're a spitting image, that's about all you need to know. This is
Hey, Cyber, you want to hear something funny?
tell me.
Uh, Early on in my post-divorce years, when I was deep in the throes of red pill rage, I I decided I was going to DNA test my kids, and I ordered a kit and I swabbed their cheeks and I sent it off. And yes, they're both my children, but I was so deeply immersed in red pill rage that I was just questioning everything.
Is this some kind of dog humor? I don't
No,
understand.
what do you don't understand? It's just something I went through. I'm not in that mind space anymore.
Okay. I just had a different expectation when you asked if I wanted to hear something funny. I was
Uh,
I was looking for a punchline like
well, it's
oh,
funny to
oh,
me. It's funny to me because my mindset then versus now are entirely two different things.
I understand.
Okay.
It's one of those things kind of like or it goes along with the cliche. It if it's tragic when it happens, it's funny when you tell it. If it's funny when it happens, it's tragic when you tell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some
I can go
like
along with that.
like somebody falling off a bike or getting clotheslined by a branch when they're walking down a hiking trail. Or you put those two together, somebody getting clotheslined by a branch when they're biking down a biking trail. Not really so funny when it happened, but you know everybody's okay and the emotional stir has subsided. You look back on it and just kind of picture it in your mind like can't help
Yeah.
but chuckle.
Exactly. Exactly. You get where I'm coming from.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Grinch Grinch can't seem to wrap his brain around it, but that's okay. He's on drugs. We'll make allowances. Fucking furry.
So do you remember the Dr. Seuss story Horton Hears a Who?
Vaguely, not the specifics.
I found it very interesting that all of the creatures in Horton Hears a Who, the population there, they all look like the Grinch.
Hmm.
They're not green, but it's the same creature.
Well, if I remember correctly, Dr. Seuss had a separate illustrator for his books.
But the Grinch is a who, not a what. He's a who. So, do you have any ideas, being a canine and all, of how we could um, convert Sam to the Republican side?
No, no, Sam is a hopeless Democrat. He likes open borders. He likes social programs. He likes government benefits. I mean, you're just not going to turn him away from all that. He's still a good boy. Don't get me wrong.
I just don't like him coming after our guns, man.
Well, he hasn't been too proactive in that arena from my observations, so he can get a pass. He's all about the roller dog entitlement.
Maybe we could explain to him that's how the cartels came to grow to such power.
Well, you think about it. They put everything in place to let the cartels move in, and then when they move to a new community, they bring those same values that let the cartel move in, and they stick to them religiously. I mean, it's just what they do. It's a cultural thing.
Right. See, the Democrats just don't get it. Good guys have guns too. And if good guys don't have guns because they get outlawed, then it's only the outlaws and the criminals that have guns. Well, they get to do whatever they want. I mean, they obviously don't care about the law.
Mm-hmm.
I know the politicians pushing for that legislation understand, but I mean, they're
Well, in my estimation, my opinion, and it's not based on any vast knowledge or education, but if Trump wants to uphold his campaign promise to cut out the fentanyl coming into this country, he is going to have to essentially invade Mexico and go after some of these cartels.
All I hear is blah, 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 blah.
Would you agree?
Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, we're just holding down the fort while you're knocking on doors trying to figure out which loading dock you're at. Anyway, it's going to be interesting times in the upcoming couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Grinch. They absolutely do. It's just going to come down to who has the bigger swinging dick.
Their hate mongering hasn't been working out so well for them, so I'm determined to keep an eye peeled, I guess you could say, for more fear mongering. They have to do something regarding emotional appeal. They can't present things logically because it's just not in their favor. It's not on their side, and it's not a strong suit for their base, their demographic. It's always something emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So if the hate mongering is not working, then they're going to reinforce some other tactic that they've been using. And fear is one hell of a motivator. So we got to look out for false flags. We got to look out for gun grabs.
You project those things to be happening in the near future?
I don't want to, but
I mean, would it be fair to say we got at least a 4-year reprieve before all that fuckery fires up again?
oh no, they're intent on sabotage. I've heard some of Kamala Harris's most recent word salad, so to speak, and a lot of that drivel that comes out of her mouth, it's not necessarily word salad. From a logical perspective, it absolutely seems that way, but that's because she's not trying to appeal to people's logic. She's trying to appeal to how what how people feel about what she says. She's speaking to a spirit in them, not to sensibility, not to reason, but to
Well,
sensationalism.
as a defeated political candidate, is her base listening to her anymore?
Yeah.
Because they seem to be pretty fickle from what I've observed.
Well, she's been telling them that they're not defeated, they're not done. There's still a lot of work to do, and we know what we got to do to get that work done. Basically, trying to not instill, because it's already there. He's trying to stimulate the spirit of resentment and rebellion and revolution.
Like a January 6th scenario.
Well, that would be insurrection.
I'm just saying.
They can't do that. They've already made the standard. And I mean, they wouldn't dare violate a standard that they set for others. Would they? We'll find out.
I
Ben and
personally,
Jerry's has a thing they're calling the People's March, set for January 18th and 19th.
where are they going to march?
DC.
Okay. Well, that'll be a good circus.
Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks.
I think it was today that Trump was set for sentencing.
Yeah. He appeared by a Zoom or some shit like that, and they basically said, your sentence is no sentence.
Uh-huh.
No fine, no jail time, no repercussions. You're being sentenced, but we're not going to do anything. And Godspeed was the judge's words.
Uh-huh. So they admit it was all a show and attempted election interference.
No, they didn't outright admit it, but they just folded. They played the game. They were defeated, and the whole thing was just a dog and pony show of sentencing, and there was no sentence pronounced. There was no repercussions, even though he was found guilty of all those trumped up charges.
Fucking idiots, man.
Yeah. But, that's trivial compared to the attempt they took on his fucking life. That didn't work out for him. And I do believe that was divine intervention.
I do too.
But, they played their cards. They lost. And now they're just trying to save face, I guess.
Which one? Which face?
All of them.
The two-faced bastards. There was somebody asking me if I felt betrayed by Trump. Like, what do you mean? Like, well, with the H-1B visa thing, he said he was going to put Americans first. It's like, no, he said put America first. Right?
Yeah.
that means the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how is that a betrayal for him to want to bring this H-1B visa topic into public conversation so that we can demand reform? Because it's absolutely being abused, and they're
Well,
exploiting people, not just the people from overseas, but also the people that are um, losing their positions.
well, let's back up and think about it. What makes the H-1B visa a desirable option? What have Native Americans, and I don't mean Indians, I mean US citizens, what have they been learning in college for the past 10, 15, 20 years?
How to weave baskets underwater, how
Yes.
to pretend that equal outcomes are something that everybody deserves, even if they don't put the same amount of work in.
Yes. The hard sciences have diminished in our education system. They're teaching social justice,
Yeah.
and look where that's gotten us.
Social sciences and humanities studies.
I'm just saying, a lot of things have come to a head, and they're realizing that maybe this isn't the way we need to go. At least I'm hopeful that more and more people are waking up to that.
Elon mentioned that, because somebody wrote on X that, the H-1B visa recipients are being exploited, and they're pretty much kicking out good American workers for cheap labor. He replied saying that would be easily fixed by increasing the minimum starting salary and adding a yearly maintenance fee for the H-1B visas, making it um, making it effectively more expensive to hire overseas than domestically. Which would mean if they push and acquire these reforms to the H-1B visas and it were more expensive, then anyone who's going to come here and replace an American worker had damn well better be better suited for the job, better
Yeah.
at the job. You remember the situation in Springfield with the Haitians?
Mm-hmm.
And Trump said during the debate, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people who live there. And it was already going into mainstream, but when he said that, everybody started talking about it, even the people who were trying to keep it quiet. And the majority started speaking about the issue. That's what I think they were doing with the tech bros versus MAGA situation, that it wasn't actually some big infighting or divide on the Trump side of things. What it was a troll to get people talking about the issue, because the public the majority should not be silent on such important issues. I saw a video of Trump from 7 years ago when he first got into office talking about H-1B visas, how they should go to the very best, and how they shouldn't be used to exploit the visa recipients or to kick Americans out of their long-standing job for cheaper labor. I've not heard him say anything new about it because it was really Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy that were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
They started talking about it in a positive light, defending it. Elon said he'd go to war over the issue. And then everybody started talking about it. Now that everybody's talking about it, maybe they'll actually take some action to reform it so that it's not a problem.
Well, the way I see it, the issue isn't with the H-1B1 visas. It's what we're being taught to our students here stateside versus the education they're getting in their home countries.
Yeah, that's something needs to be discussed as well. You actually said something a little bit ago before I started rambling about the education system. If they're teaching them these humanities and social sciences and underwater basket weaving and all this bullshit, of course
Yeah,
we're not making the best and brightest here. We're making a
that's
bunch of social justice warriors. That's what you were
that's
pointing
what
out, right?
that's what the Marxists want us to be teaching our children.
Yeah.
Not STEM, all this social bullshit.
So I've noticed a lot of the silly shit, a lot of the serious shit, and everything in between that Trump says or does.
I have to go inside the Walmart store because they weren't answering their fucking door and check to see I have it in the right dock.
Those bastards.
All
It's
right,
almost
then.
like they're getting minimum wage.
Lazy minimum wage bastards.
I quite frankly, I don't blame them. You know, if I was night shift in the fucking warehouse, I'd be snoozing too. Well, anyways, I'll be back in just a bit.
Alrighty.
Do what you gotta do.
But a lot of what I've seen result from these things that Trump does sets off a chain reaction of events that involves the so-called silent majority speaking out about issues on which they've been silent for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm following you.
And it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but
Absolutely, it is.
I mean, so is working out, right? So is going for a jog to keep your cardio. You know?
You got to stop and ask the question: why are they more qualified to do jobs here in America than Americans?
Yeah.
It goes back to the education system. Why are they being better educated and prepared in their third world countries than what we can do here in our supposed first world country? And it's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on for years and years and years. And that's by design.
I gotta step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
But ramble on that thought, man.
No, I'm done rambling.
This education system is shit. We got students who don't even know they're being scammed, but they want all their student debt relieved. Well, why would they want that? Isn't the occupation that they're paying so much for valid enough that they could pay off their own debt? Well, apparently not. Something's wrong.
Yep. I agree with you there, Seraphin. Modern education is brainwashing. Grinch, good night. Have a good day. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Rafter, good to see you in the chat again, sir. Hope you're doing well. True Blood is inside the building trying to track down people to let him know if he's in the right place so he can unload.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back, sir.
That had to have been the quickest shit I've ever taken in my life. No, I'm kidding. Here I sit, all broken hearted. Thought I'd shit, but only farted.
All right, if you say so.
Maybe next time.
You got all weekend, bro.
Yeah.
What's the rush? Seraphin says, and you took it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Over the hills and mountains. Suffer the slings and arrows. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Of course I farted. You think I smell like this all the time? It's just something for the haters to clip.
Let them clip away.
Clip it. Clip
Nobody,
it.
nobody's watching them.
Yeah, that kind of stuff only lasts for so long.
Yeah. Are you working tomorrow, Cyber, or are you taking the weekend off?
I'll be working.
Oh, yeah? Full day?
Maybe not. We still had some baseboards in one bedroom and a bathroom to do, as well as some door frames.
Mm-hmm.
But we had painted the walls and ceilings at this place a while back, and she had some old stained wooden baseboards and doors in there, and it's like a 2 bedrooms on each side of a Jack and Jill bathroom, but it's going to be like a Jill and Jill bathroom. These two sisters. And, like gray walls, dark gray walls with old stained wooden trim is not really to a girl's liking. So we painted the walls and ceiling white, and we're painting the baseboards and trim with the same color but a different sheen, a brighter sheen, semi-gloss. And yesterday and today, we sprayed all the doors pink. It's like a carnation pink, something like that. Something in between a salmon and a carnation pink. So not like really vivid, but still very pink.
Right.
But we got to finish putting the semi-gloss on the baseboards and the door frames. It might not be all day. It's at least 4 hours, but.
And then what? And then what you got planned?
I'm gonna come back and dig into some of these groceries I bought today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, it's Brandon. They let him in.
Hello. You see before you the great pumpkin.
And Sam.
And Sam. He decided it's time to sit on the lap.
You get it figured out?
Yeah. I did. And you know what else I got figured out?
How to avoid usury and indentured servitude?
You are a very smart fellow, and you do that by following the 3 tenets of MGTOW, right, Sam? Sam says, I have no choice. They cut my balls off at the Humane Society.
How very humane of them.
Yes. They didn't ask permission or nothing. Anyways, no marriage, no cohabitation, no new children. That'll keep you out of usury and indentured servitude. And what else would Hemi say? and he decided to stick around tonight.
Don't bring your fucking girlfriends around here.
That's right. Don't bring your fucking girlfriends around here.
Ruff.
So, MGTOW is for normal men and neutered dogs. You know, but help a brother out. We can't help Sam out. His balls are gone forever. But we can feed him and love him and teach him tricks.
They chopped
Give
his
it-
balls off and threw him in a can of bologna somewhere.
Yeah, that's right. They did. So help a brother out. Have a purpose in your life, because if you don't have a purpose, you'll find one in women. And be good to each other. Peace out, brothers. And I'll catch you on the road again tomorrow. Bye.
Good night, guys. Good to talk to you.